you guys are ready.
Adverse childhood experiences affecting lives in the United States. The problem that me and my group came up with is adverse childhood experiences, often referred to as ACEs, affecting lives in the United States. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have conducted research on preventing, identifying, and responding to ACEs. They refer to ACEs as traumatic events that occur during childhood. This can include violence, abuse, or neglect, witnessing violence in their homes or communities, or having a family member attempt or die by suicide. More specific examples of this is abuse sexually, emotionally, or physically, neglect like hurting the child emotionally or physically, and household challenges like substance use, mental illness, divorce or separation, and domestic violence. Other factors of this can be bullying, community violence, natural disasters, refugee or wartime experiences, and or experiencing acts of terrorism. ACEs can affect workplace opportunities by causing low or poorly done job performance. It can also create different health issues in the individual like fast heart rate, high blood pressure, changes in breathing, memory issues, and loss of bladder control. It can also harm the person mentally, like creating depression and anxiety. It can create diseases like cancer and kidney disease. ACEs can also produce a type of stress called toxic stress. Toxic stress is the body's long-lasting stress response. It affects cardiovascular, immune, and metabolic regulatory systems. ACEs can also affect academic settings. It can create problems with focusing in the individual, poor social skills, behavior issues in the classroom, memory, and lack of motivation. It can also be very harmful to the developing brain of the individual, cause certain behaviors like isolating, passive, and clingy behaviors, and interactions with peers. ACEs are more likely to occur if the child is living in poverty. The first solution that me and my group came up with is to take time for mental health on school days.
For some of the limitations, the first one is this is going to take away instructional time from the teachers. This is going to be about a 30-minute long period that students are going to spend outside of the classroom talking to either a therapist or a trained staff member. And another limitation is children are not always going to be comfortable talking to whatever staff member they're given that day. They might not see eye to eye, or they might just not be comfortable altogether talking to them. For some of the implications, all children will be able to participate. It is not required. This is so that students feel less like they have to open up to somebody and more like they're wanting to open up to somebody. This is also just giving them someone to open up to altogether. They might not have somebody outside of school to open up to about their home lives or their problems, and this gives them a safe person to trust and open up about their feelings to. For pros, like I just said, this gives a safe space for students. No one outside of the four walls that they're talking to the therapist in will hear what they say inside of there unless it is something that could harm them or somebody else in the community. And this is also not going to be costly for anybody. Many children can't afford to get a therapist, or their parents won't pay for them to get one. So this is completely free. It's on the school, and this is going to allow them to give somebody to open up to for no cost needed. All right, for the cons, our first one's going to be availability of therapists, because the therapists that we're hiring are probably going to be therapists that have outside jobs as well. They're not always going to be able to give whatever time they need to just come and talk to the kids every single day whenever they're needed. This could also be expensive for the school because they're going to be paying the therapist to come. And when you're hiring 2 or 3 therapists per school in the district, it's going to add up eventually and take a toll on school districts.
All right, the second solution is better programs for teachers to look for warning signs. Teachers are one of the first to notice changes in behavior, but sometimes that's not enough. The tolerance and knowledge of how they're acting in class in the situation may not be dramatic, but it's important to be noticeable. For example, some headaches, stomach aches, declining grades, and absences in school are usually signs of kids doing bad in mental health, but not always. In some cases, energetic kids may be doing just fine and may have ADHD, and therapy or warning signs will not be beneficial to them. Proper training on these subjects can be beneficial for teachers. Workshops for training teachers to be more educated on the subjects that they're teaching to the kids, and clear steps for referral, teacher-parent meetings to make sure that everybody is in the know, and and early intervention is key to make sure you get a hold of the problem before it takes control of the kid's life. This will make a powerful impact on the kids' lives. Teachers will not always pick up on signs. Some signs are invisible. Even with training, teachers are not psychologists, so we cannot expect them to know everything. On top of that, class sizes are very large these days. The average class size is 25 to 33 students. Lesson planning, grading, and other duties like card duty take up time and takes away time from building relationships with kids. Also, misinterpreting shy students and energetic students can be a factor on the limitations. Not enough time to build relationships. Teachers' lives are always busy and filled up. Even if they don't have something to do on their time, another teacher will often ask them for help or support on another subject. Teachers are the important first step, but cannot carry all the responsibilities. Some implications are it provides trauma-informed classroom environments. This allows schools to create, to see what's wrong and what has happened. It promotes patience over punishment. It creates a sympathetic viewpoint to allow comfortability, better connects students to teachers, and is in supports of the environment and reduces classroom destruction. This helps children's academic performance by taking out the kids that are usually the disruptive ones and will take the attention off the learning so they can better understand the subjects that they're in and get the education that they deserve. Ultimately, mental health and academic success are strongly intertwined.
So for some of our pros for our second solution, we have that the training can be used inside or outside of the classroom. Inside the classroom, teachers can pick up on the warning signs for their students, and outside, if they're in public and they see something, they might want to report it. It's better to say something and be wrong than to not say something and something bad happen. We also have that it will improve future job opportunities for the kids. If a child's signs are picked up on early enough, then they can get the help that they need, and that ties back into the therapy in schools because they'll get the help and aid that they need to be successful in the future. For our cons, we have that teachers won't get extra pay even though they're doing extra work, and teachers already don't get a lot of pay and they have a lot of responsibilities, so that's not a great thing because they're doing extra work, so they would need the extra money. But that ties in with, it puts more responsibility on the teachers because they're doing more stuff even though they already look for warning signs. It would be more in-depth looking and research for it. So in conclusion, adverse childhood experiences do affect living in the United States. It can impact workplace opportunities, health issues, academic setting and development, and it often occurs when children are living in poverty. But to help that, we can take time during the school days for therapy sessions, which will help children academically and socially. And it also is available to everyone, so it's not just, oh, if you have the money or the time. And we can also implement better programs for teachers to look for warning signs, and this will also help the children academically. And it can be used inside or outside of the classroom, like I said, and it improves future opportunities for the students.
All right, let's look at your oral defense questions. All right, Morgan, how did the group decide to include Kirsten's perspective, lens, or conclusions into the overall presentation?
We decided to include Kirsten's lens of futuristic in the presentation by providing how ACEs can affect the children in workplace opportunities, which is their future, and how it can negatively impact their performance in the workplace.
All right. Kirsten, if you had another team member, what other perspectives or limitations could they have researched that would have made a useful contribution to the project?
We could have added a historical viewpoint on how the leaders in the past, like principals or people of authority, are affected by mental health as well, and how that can affect kids and their education.
Okay. Brady, give one specific way that your thinking changed as a result of learning about Elizabeth's findings.
So Elizabeth's findings were, she went from a scientific lens, so her paper included a lot of statistics, and when reading those statistics, I didn't think this was as big of a deal as or as it actually is, but after reading the statistics of like poverty and child abuse and all that was in her paper, it really came back around and made me realize how large of an issue this is in our country.
Okay. Elizabeth, what is a way in which your team's resolution makes you think differently about your own individual research?
I think differently about it because I see now that it's more of it impacts their future, and my individual research was how it impacts them now and like all the statistics of nowadays. But our research showed me that it lasts longer into their life and it's more of their futuristic outcome than nowadays.
All right. Good job, guys. Thank you.